What's up, Cinema Shogun here, and after just 5 short days behind bars, Jussie Smollett has been released from jail. And I am not happy about this one. I am upset about this. And to be honest, I feel kind of stupid for even having faith that the justice system would get this one right. For even believing that finally they got one right. That finally we got a win after years of nonstop gaslighting and virtue signaling from the mainstream media and from Hollywood, after years of divisive rhetoric being spewed all over social media, after years of race baiting from Hollywood and politicians and our mainstream media trying to divide us. I felt like finally we all got this win. Finally someone was going to be held accountable for all of this woke nonsense that has been going on over the past couple of years. And right when you think you're going to get a win, whoop, you got to be quicker than that. Have you ever seen that commercial? When he's got $1 and it's at the end of a fishing line and someone reaches for it and there's just someone right there reeling it back. That's what they did right here. They threw out the bait and then they reeled it on back. And I think this goes to show that this whole trial, the whole sentencing, everything was just theater. It was just theater. Never was Jussie Smollett really going to face the consequences for what he did. Because the people at power don't think he did anything wrong. The people in power are the ones that caused the situation to happen in the first place. They love things like this. The only reason they're upset about the situation is that Jussie got caught. Of course they didn't want Jussie to do time behind bars. Of course Jussie isn't going to do time behind bars. And I don't want to hear any arguments anymore about this white privilege nonsense when you see things like this. What, did his white privilege get him off? Was that white privilege? I don't think so. I think it goes to show if you got money, you can get away with anything. And if you're going with the mainstream narrative, they will take it extremely easy on you. Even if you get caught in something as heinous and as stupid as what Jussie himself got caught in. I think this just goes to show that there was never going to be any consequences for him. That some way, one way or another, Jussie Smollett's going to walk away scot-free from all of this stuff. While people are sitting behind bars for way less. Not only did Jussie Smollett fake a hate crime, which I would argue is a hate crime in itself, because he did this, there was racial motivation behind why he did this. Did he not do this to make one race look bad? Did he not do this to villainize a certain race? So when you stage a fake hate crime in order to make a different race look bad, that in itself is racist. And not only that, you have to look at the timing. He did this when the media was already putting fuel on the fire of the racial divides in this country. And he did this at an opportune time. What Jussie Smollett did directly triggered a lot of reactions. There were protests all over America because of what Jussie Smollett did. Businesses were destroyed because of Jussie Smollett. There were people, still to this day, who were tricked by Jussie Smollett. Tricked in believing that things are worse than what they are. And now they view a certain portion of people a certain type of way, largely because of what Jussie Smollett did. Never mind the fact that he did it to himself. But his lawyers had a little bit to say about the situation. We are gratified that Jussie will be back with his family and loved ones and look forward to a dispassionate review and reversal of the serial injustices visited upon him. Oh my God. His lawyer said that when they were talking to him at one point through a glass barrier, it looked like Jussie had given up and lost hope in the Constitution. What? Who gives a damn if Jussie lost hope in and lost faith in the Constitution. What does that even mean? We have to remember here, folks, Jussie Smollett is still going along with this lie that he didn't set up this hoax, even though he is on camera. Jussie Smollett is on camera practicing this hoax. Jussie Smollett is on camera tightening the noose around his neck so he can have it on when the police showed up. There's no question if Jussie Smollett, there's no question if he's guilty here. Like, there's 100% proof that he's guilty. So it's not hearsay. It's not, we got some evidence against Jussie. No. For 100% fact, Jussie Smollett set up this fake hate crime. Yet he still denies it. He still denies it. His family gets on camera and they deny it. And they all look like complete assholes because Jussie is on video doing this. Talking about some Jussie Smollett is losing faith in the Constitution. I'm losing faith in the Constitution because Jussie Smollett was freaking released after 5 days, despite being sentenced to 150 days in jail for a very serious offense. What he did was very serious. Had there been some random people outside in Chicago that night with MAGA hats on, walking around that had nothing to do with this, they would have been arrested. And I 100% guarantee you Jussie Smollett would not have an issue with random strangers getting arrested for a hate crime that they had nothing to do with. Jussie Smollett wouldn't care if there were two random white dudes that had to do time behind bars because they were falsely accused of this crime. He wouldn't care. But I'm supposed to care that Jussie Smollett was in jail. And mind you, I don't know how closely you all have been following this situation, but since Jussie has been locked up, there's been nonstop nonsense happening on his behalf. At one point, they had to strap him down to a chair because he got in there and just went straight up psychopathic crazy. We all saw the outburst when he was leaving the courtroom. He got even worse when he got to the jail. He got put in the psychiatric ward. He's not even in general population with other prisoners or other inmates. He's by himself, isolated. He's perfectly safe. 3 hots in a cot. He could have did those 150 days, slept through most of it, and he would have been fine. But no, he was bitching and complaining and whining the whole entire time. Like most people who get locked up, do you think they see their lawyer within the first 5 days of them being locked up, let alone get released? Hell no. Hell no. The fact that he's already had multiple visitations with his lawyers and he's only been in jail for 5 days blows my freaking mind. Most people are lucky in jail if they get visitation like once a week. This dude has been getting visitation this whole entire time, every freaking day. He's going crazy. He's complaining about everything. And he's just caused such a disruptance while behind bars. And they're saying that the state, they aren't happy about the situation. Its response when asked about the release of Jussie Smollett, they said, rather than attempt to meet his burden of showing good cause for immediate release, Mr. Smollett makes only cursory, woefully undeveloped arguments. Each fails to demonstrate good cause to stay his jail sentence. So they're claiming to be upset that he was released, but we all know that's bogus because they went ahead and okayed the release. There are 3 judges, I believe, that decided upon this, 2 of which decided to let him go. I think the other one was kind of on the fence about it. But they let him out while he's awaiting his appeal, which is a while from now. Jussie Smollett should have did those 150 days. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I think the crime that he committed is way more serious than a 150-day sentence when you take into account the fact of how far he went with this. Now, if Jussie Smollett did this crime and went ahead and pled guilty from the get-go and he got some probation or a slight jail sentence, then okay, it's understandable. But he took this all the way. And the way the court system works often, it's like if you just plead guilty and you don't take it to trial and stuff, you're 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get your charges are your sentencing isn't going to be as harsh as if you take it to trial. A lot of times, if you take something to trial, trying to beat it, and you put them through all that time and effort with the trial, and you still get found guilty, they will hit you with like the max, or they'll hit you with one of the harshest, sentencings that they can, as opposed to if you just plead guilty in the beginning, they'll usually, work out a deal and give you a lesser sentence. So the fact that he took it all the way and only served 5 days in jail, and I'm telling you all right now, from the way it's looking, this might get overturned. Jussie Smollett might walk away completely free. Meaning like he's not going to go back to jail. He's never going to do another day behind bars. Might not even do probation. Nothing. Might not even have to pay the fines. Nothing. So, one of Jussie Smollett's defense attorneys is now seeking to file an appeal of the verdict. We are very happy with the ruling made by the Illinois District Court, Uchi said in a statement to Fox News. We are pleased that sensationalism and politics will be put aside and we can finally have an intellectual discussion about our laws with our esteemed court. 3 years ago, Jussie and the state of Illinois reached a deferred prosecution agreement in which he paid a $10,000 fine and performed community service. As a result, the case was dismissed, the statement continued, to be recharged and prosecuted for the exact same thing a second time is not just morally wrong, but certainly double jeopardy and thus unconstitutional, especially as it concerns an innocent man. Obviously not innocent. But as sad as this sounds and as upset as this makes me, from what everyone seems to be saying, a lot of legal experts have weighed in, it looks like Jussie Smollett has a good argument. And I know that sucks, and it sounds bad. But because of how this case was handled in the beginning, looks like there's a possibility that Jussie Smollett will be let go. That he will walk scot-free away from these charges. These charges, there's a possibility that this will all just go away. Now, of course, there'll still be a stain on his name as far as, how we all view him. But legally, he might just walk away scot-free. A lot of legal experts have weighed in. They believe that he may walk away scot-free. And the general consensus is the fact that he was let go after these 5 days is a bad sign for me, bad sign for most of you all, but it's a good sign for Jussie. They're saying that this is a sign that these judges know that perhaps that with the appeal that this will be thrown out. So they're going ahead and releasing him now. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully that is not the case. But one lawyer said this. There are a lot of people unhappy at Kim Fox, Fox was the person who originally agreed with this deal with Smollett, but it was never put into signing. Smollett didn't take a plea. That's why it's a weird issue. He didn't take a plea, but he forfeited his bond and he did some community service in order to dismiss those charges. So it's a weird legal issue. So it's like the original person that took this case on, they didn't take it as seriously. And then the case got picked up later on. But once the case got picked up by a different judge, the situation was already, unfolding because Jussie Smollett had already paid some fines and he was already doing community service. And in the eyes of the law, that could be looked at as like consequences. Like you already started doing your bid for what you did. You didn't serve any time, but you paid these fines, you did community service. Those were your consequences for what you did. So now they're saying because he already did that the fact that a different court picked it up and they sent him to jail and all this, that this is double jeopardy. That now they're basically charging him twice. Although that deal was really shady, the original deal that he worked out was really shady. I don't even think there was I don't even think he signed like the proper legal documents and all of that. But they're saying because he paid that fine, he did that community service, that means that he shouldn't be charged with this crime again. So it's just a really weird situation. The fact that that even happened in the first place is completely shady. That was because they were trying to get Jussie Smollett, off scot-free. And they thought that it was going to work until people, got really up in an uproar about it. And then they had to focus on the case again. And then they throw that bait out to you. Well, we gave him 150 days and he's going to get some probation. Now everyone leave us alone. And then, got to be quicker than that. 5 days later, Jussie Smollett's out of jail. Because Jussie Smollett was never going to serve all that time. Jussie Smollett was never going to face the consequences for what he did. Because Jussie Smollett is part of 2 protected classes in America. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. He's part of 2 protected classes right now in America. And he's rich. So if you thought Jussie Smollett was going to do time for this, then I don't know what to tell you, because I was one of those people as well, because I just had faith that maybe for once they would get this right, but obviously they didn't. But make no mistake about it. If you did something like this, your ass will be in jail. Your ass will be in jail. There are people who get pulled over with like a joint or something, a $5 bag of marijuana, who are sitting in jail for Lord knows how long. Meanwhile, Jussie Smollett fakes a hate crime that causes the whole nation to get in an uproar and to start protesting and to start killing each other and hating each other and you name it. And mind you, it caused an investigation that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and nothing at all. I guess for once, Jussie Smollett's white privilege worked out. It really did. But I want to know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and as always, find some time out of your day to not fake hate crimes, because you will definitely rot in jail if you do, because you're not Jussie Smollett.